Happy days, everybody. 2 seniors camping, our Honda CRV, and a little marriage advice along the way. I deleted the audio on this one and I'm doing a voiceover. Why is that? Because sometimes when you're in the midst of something and you're hot and you're sweating and you're trying to get it to work, husband and wife have a few words, so I took them out. We may not always agree on how to get things done, But ultimately, we have the same goal, and fortunately, we reach a good end. And we're still happy, and we still like each other.
I'm here to help you.
You're on video.
Am I?
Yeah. You are now.
Did it get much? It didn't get all the rest of it.
Hmm?
It just got this part.
You're fine. I made sure. And the cool guy goes up there somewhere. Here we go. And it'll come out your end there. And it, there you go. Now I'm going to push this one. And it's going to pull it out.
Is that like a cover for the doorway?
Yeah, keep the rain out. Hey! Now, I think it's coming a little bit.
Two geniuses at work.
Oh, yeah. There you go. And there's Stanley going across the way. That little blue thing over there, that's Stanley in his blue shirt. And he's going to ask where the nearest grocery store is, because we came here, we thought maybe for one night, maybe two, because it's supposed to rain. So we came here a day early. We actually got a campsite. It's sunny out. I'm sweating from putting up the tent. No, do the rest. It's a good thing we brought some things with us. I have storage under here. Our bathroom tent. Even though there's bathrooms way over there. But in the night, we don't want to go a long way. So we thought maybe we were just going to sleep in the back of the vehicle. No tent at all, but I threw in the tent just in case. But there's a lot of other things I didn't throw in, like our light, more food. And we were just going to kind of do a road trip, stop in and see where we could go. And it turned out we got this campground, Jordan Valley. Usually we're way across over under the willow trees. This time we're over by the river, which I'll show you later on. But we have our foam mattresses. We have our sleeping bags. Stanley brought us a pillow. I didn't. I didn't bring a pillow. Because it was all very impromptu. I think within an hour, I figured out what I wanted to do, and Stanley said, well, okay, I'll go along with you. And because he felt bad, all the planning for camping, and we weren't going to be able to do it, maybe. And it turns out we can. Right, so what I usually do with the tape is I seal it down here with tape. Keep bugs out. I don't know if I need to do that this time. It's pretty calm out, and at some point we're actually going to have to use the vehicle, so we close this down, drive away, go get some groceries. We do have some things. We have a dinner, and we have a lunch, and we have breakfast, so we're all set. Maybe we could fast for a few days. Anyway, there we go. This is our life. And Stan says he's going to try sleeping in on the cushions with me. So we'll see what happens. And that's what we're going to do for now. People have been complaining that it's not warm enough in Ontario, and it hasn't. Oops. Everywhere else has been warm, but We've had like the odd day. Anyways, getting this done. Ooh, it's warm. So now the bedroom area is complete. That's where we'll sleep, hopefully. I've slept there before, but Stanley says he gets claustrophobic, so he might end up sleeping out here. And right now I've got all this stuff lying all over the place. All I want to do is just sit down and relax, have a refreshing drink, and oh, we should go to the pool. Oh yeah. Anyways, okay, talk to you later. Sleeping area 2. It's not completely set up yet, but sleeping bags. That round disc looking thing there is our portable bathroom, shower tent, whatever you want to call it. We have a couple of chairs that we can use. We can pull inside and sit and eat at our table if we need to. If it rains, and it's supposed to rain, it's supposed to be like 80%. And that's why we came a day early, and they fortunately took us in. That's the front door of the tent open. There's a little wooden table I made, which I said to Stanley we can use, put our coffee on and have coffee in bed. And what is Stanley doing?
See it split?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a straight grain, so it should split fairly easily.
And down it goes. Look at that.
See, those are about the right size for kindling.
Yeah. You gonna
Now,
do that
I'm not
again,
sure
or?
I'm going to try this at right angles and see if it'll break. And you have to have a solid place to put that on, otherwise it just gets into the ground.
And in this case, it's the root of this tree that I'm leaning against. The bee is interested.
Okay, let's see what this does.
All right. Oh, got it.
There.
Wow, great.
That'll do for now.
This is where he was cutting the wood, on that little root right there. And it's the root of this big tree. I don't even know what kind of tree this is, but it's amazing. Look at that. It's really big. I just can't get it all into the picture. And then there's another one over here. He's kind of, it's funny how they grow crooked like that. Anyway, and beyond the bushes over there is the river. So we're by the river. When you get a knot, yeah. Oh. You don't want that axe falling on your toes, Stanley.
I don't. That's why I've dropped it in the It's not going to work, so it'll just go on the fire. Hello, buddies. They look so nice.
Don't talk to them.
Why?
Just be quiet.
They're sitting on our table. Man, there are certain type of geese. I don't think they're the normal ones that we see. You see the males have got this funny little hat on.
Watch it. One might chase you.
I'm not worried about it. See, they're used to that noise too. See, that would normally freak them out, but they're used to it.
Yeah, but humans are different.
Well, what this, I think this is their place.
Have you ever seen a goose chase somebody?
Yes, I've been chased by them.
Oh, good.
As long as you're slow and not aggressive, they're not too bad.
I'd like to get closer. So.
Look at this one lying on its back. This is people. They're more interested in eating than they are in us. Beautiful birds, my word. This will get it going. So you put another crossways on it.
Nice
One more.
orange. Nice orange flame.
You build them upon each other, you see. Now there's lots of air for the oxygen to help the flames.
Now we're making smoke signals.
Yeah, at least it's going that way. If it suddenly blows back here, we're going to look like a fog man.
It would just smell smoky.
And once that really gets cracking, you get what's called a nice bed of coals, hardwood coals, and then they'll take pretty well anything you put to them.
Good morning. Here we are with our morning breakfast, and this is our view. And that's where we slept. Lovely sunshine today. So let me tell you the story about how we got here. First of all, we had planned on a 3-day camping in Jordan Valley, which is where we are. And when we looked at the forecast, it just said rain, 80%. There was only one good day, Tuesday, which is today. And then it's supposed to rain Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we didn't really want to take down our tent sopping wet. And I was joking with Stanley. I said, well, we would just bring it home. We'll set it inside the house and then we'll just dry it all off. And the funny thing is, as after this 3 days of camping, we are going for 10 days at Disney World. So I decided Monday that what if we just scaled down really, really simple, just a few things for our camping. And then, gotta put water on my coffee here. And then we, if we had to, we'd just sleep in the vehicle. Well, he wasn't sure about that because usually when we go camping, he sleeps in the tent part here and I sleep over there inside the Honda CRV. And I know it's very comfy, and I always was concerned about him sleeping on the ground because he's 80, come on. And I remember one time camping when he was 79, and he said he was cold. I'm never cold when I sleep in the Honda CRV there, So I went out to the vehicle and I took everything out for our camping trip, and I rearranged everything so that the foam, our 4-inch foam mattress, like it's in sections, so I divided it up and filled the cavity of the CRV. It doesn't fit perfect, but it's pretty good. And I had him come out of the house and come and try it. And he said, well, I think that might be doable. And then he was thinking about when we were driving down here, which we decided to leave a day early and grab the weather. That was Monday. And driving down here, he said, you know, we could do this like spur of the moment. The weather's nice. We could do a road trip. And I said, yeah, it's just like, I've always wanted to do that very, very simply. Not just have the whole big tent, and we had a big bin for dry goods and a big cooler, you know, the big Coleman cooler that you have, or at least we have. I just felt like, you know, it could all be done in a very simple fashion. So we threw some things in together thinking maybe we'll get one day out of this, and then we'll have to drive home and it might be raining, but we'll just sleep in the CRV and then we have no problem. Well, guess what? Monday we got down to Jordan Valley, which is a 2-hour drive south of where we live, and the weather was beautiful, and we thought, let's set up the tent. Now I had thrown in the tent, just the tent, not the tarp that goes underneath, not the carpet that I like to lay on the floor, none of those little comforts. I just threw the tent in, and sure enough we got to put it up and use it. So that's how we got here, and I think we had a good sleep. I didn't hear any complaints. I could complain because I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I was so conscious of like, give him enough space. If he has a really comfortable sleep, he'll want to do this again. So that was what I'm hoping. So I heard no complaints from him, and it was great. We had a little jar for peeing in the night. I didn't have to go in the night, so that was amazing. You can walk across the campgrounds to the washrooms and showers and everything. So, and that's where Stanley is right now. Oh, I must continue pouring water on my coffee here. We just have a little table and brought the Coleman stove in. There's our table. There's my little kettle on the stove. I'm just doing the pour through for coffee. So anyway, that's it for now. I suppose there might be more. Who knows when I get to edit this, because, well, when we go home, I might have a chance to do it on Thursday. Then Saturday morning, we leave again. So, cheers. So Stanley, a lot of people like camping, and obviously we must like it because we're doing it, but why do you think people like camping?
I think probably because there's not a whole lot of reasons. One is they're getting complete change from their venue at home and the habits of their life. They get a whole new environment where everything usually at a campground is fresh and clean, and there's a swimming pool, there's good amenities, and yet it is a little bit, let's say, on the rough side, because you're sleeping in a tent, and sometimes there can be a few squabbles like me, who trying to get fitted in because I'm not used to it. But once you get used to it, it's kind of cozy. So there's so many reasons why people like camping. They realize they're away from a lot of familiarity, but sometimes that's refreshing. And you get outside, if you've children, get outside with the children, play basketball, play maybe even baseball, and
So more,
swim if you don't have a pool in your backyard.
a little more focused time with your kids.
A little more
Less
focused,
distraction.
little more focused time. In other words, you're not just rushing in the door and off to the next meeting. There are no next meetings. It's good for us to invest in other lives, especially our partner and especially children. They love it when mom and dad say, let's do this and let's do that. So it's a great big wholesome chunk of what's needed in life to add that joy and connection to one another. All right, carry on.
We enjoyed cuddling up in our Honda CRV in the back. That was nice. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, cuddling with you is always pretty good, baby.
Sometimes in marriage it takes a little while to get your spouse to get on the same page with you, to do what you're doing, to agree with you, to understand, to communicate, and so forth. And I know that with my husband, a lot of times, and I think this is true of a lot of marriages, I just have to sort of plant the idea and wait till it germinates. And so I have a morning of germination, which means I finally convinced him that it's a good idea to sleep in the back and to save the rest of the tent area for our cooking and coffee and sitting and enjoying things. So that this outer side of the camp, the tent, this is actually the tent portion, don't want to make you dizzy, becomes our kitchen living room. Even if it was pouring rain, we could actually sit and play a game of cards or whatever. My favorite game right now is called Sequence. I will even play that by myself now and again. But anyway, even if it rained and you were all indoors, you can still cook, turn on your little stove and vent out through the ceiling properly, and it's great, works well. So Stanley said this morning that he actually likes this arrangement, and sleeping in the vehicle is very doable. So, germination. Jordan Valley Campground is slowly turning into a tiny home community. Now, the owners have been talking about this ever since 2021, and it's a very slow progression, but we did see the very first tiny home on site. And then we did a short tour. So this tiny home has a loft, and apparently they're going to be having a new tiny home delivered, which has a ground floor bedroom. And if we stayed in one, like you can rent these, if we stayed in one, we would definitely do the ground floor. But these are well made. I like the interior. It's very cabin-like, very homey. The maintenance person of the Jordan Valley Campground was showing us around. Now, people apparently can purchase a tiny home and have it situated on a block at Jordan Valley. So I think, and then that would be a year-round rental of the land, and you have your tiny home on that land. So they're gradually becoming one of the first, I guess, in Canada, tiny home communities. I understand that there are a number of them out in British Columbia, and sometimes British Columbia is ahead of Ontario in terms of doing things. So I like that about the West Coast. In the meantime, we wait. And in Jordan Valley, they're slowly making the change. And I like that. Lots of nature to enjoy, little surprises along the way, great wide open campsites, and finally the fire ban is off. Great sunsets, lovely fire, walks along the river, through the paths, and eventually a swim for the day. Our hiking path brought us to a little village where we had lunch at Inn on the 20 restaurant. The food is absolutely amazing, along with the view. I would definitely recommend it. In fact, I do recommend it. All good things must come to an end, and we were fortunate enough to grab 2 sunny days, and then the rain set in. So before the rain arrived, we decided to take down our tent the night before and pack all that up, because if the rain came and the tent was wet, well, that would be a big issue, trying to dry it out, having to take it home wet, and so forth. So we took it down the night before. Now, one thing I forgot to do is I forgot to open the door, so the whole thing was like a big balloon. It was really quite funny. So we took down our tent, and we just left up a mosquito net over the back of the Honda CRV and the tent that we use for our bathroom. The reason we did that was if it did rain, we would have very little to pack up, very few things that were actually wet. And sure enough, the rain came. It came early. It came at 5:30, not 11 a.m. like they had forecasted. Nope, we got it early. So we were well prepared. We enjoyed our time. Talk to you later.